Bauman. I'm an instructor at the Bernardo Free Academy. I'm here with my friend today to go over some grip breaking with you guys, okay? We're going to show 3 different ways to break grips and the way we want to approach breaking grips. So the first idea is if your training partner grabs a collar grip. Now there's a couple spots they might grab. If he grabs really low, if he grabs down here, this is very different. There's so much fabric, it's a lot easier for me to deal with. But if he grabs up high like he did, right around the collarbone, this is a good grip on his part. 3 steps I want to do. The first thing is I want to have a good base. If I just stand like this and he pulls me forward, I'm going to go flying. But if I set myself in a good base, my hips low, my knees bent, now he pulls me, I have a much stronger base to start dealing with that. So first step is good base. The second step, we're going to go over a couple of different ways to deal with this wrist. But we're going to start off as if he didn't have any sleeve at all. I want to think about where his wrist is, and I'll show a few angles. But my opposite hand is going to come in right along the thumb bone here, and I'm going to grip from the outside like this. Tight to the wrist like a clamp. My elbows come in tight to my body. Since I already have a good base, my second step of grabbing the wrist secures that hand. My third step is I want to push hard right to his shoulder. Not up, not down, not left or right. I want to push straight back. And as I push, I'm going to pop my chest back. So look, here I go. Just like this. Now, if I let go, he'll just re-grip. Right, so as I break this, I want to think about moving this hand away, or at least making it so it's hard for him to re-grip. So one more time, he grabs. First thing, good base. I usually like to have my lead foot under the lead hand. If I go here, I can still break the grip, but my balance is different. So first step, good base. Second step for this particular variation, it's almost like I'm clapping right on his wrist. Not down by the elbow, okay? Right by the wrist, elbows in tight, good posture here. I push and pop with my chest, and then since I've got a grip, I can push and use that for something else, okay? Let's do it from this angle. Okay, this is the first variation of no sleeves, no fabric or anything. So I'm standing here, he grips, same side. So you can see here, look, good base, hips low. I don't want to be standing stiff. I want to bend my knees. Second thing is I'm coming in tight, literally, right on that wrist. If I'm a little loose, my hands are separate, I don't have as much control. The wrist is his weakest point. So I want to be strong here, elbows in. The third is I'm trying to extend his fingers so that he wants to let go. Okay? So one more time, he grips, good base, grab the wrist, pop. And then I can clear and go from there. So let's look at a second variation. It's going to be the same 3 steps of getting a good base, clamping the wrist, and then popping it off. But he grabs here. The second variation, I'm going to look at the cuff. I get my base, and instead of coming to the wrist, I'm going to grip the cuff or the sleeve together real tight. But if I push it down, look, I'm on his elbow, hold tight. Look, yeah, Mark's not going to let this go. But if I clamp with the fabric to his wrist, now I can go. And now look, I have control. I can push across, I can push here, I can use it for an arm drag, I can set up my counter attack. So one more time, he grabs me. First step is always make sure I have a good base. And you'll probably get used to it that I'll be in a good base already, but it's good to remember this first step. Second step, get my cuff grip, pull tight to the wrist. Just like before, I'm clamping on the wrist. Here I'm pulling tight to the wrist. Same location, I just have fabric. Elbows in tight. Now I'm looking where I'm going. I don't need to pop up or move. I'm just extending my arms as my chest goes back. And now I need to do something to control it. Okay? So we'll do it from the other angle too, just so you can see. Same idea. Here I am. Oh, he got a grip. Good base, cuff grip, tight to the wrist, pop it off, and now clear it. We'll do one last variation. We'll actually come back here so you can see. So one last variation is to mix those 2 grips. So when he grips here, okay, I get my base. The first variation was no fabric. The second was both hands on the fabric. The third variation, this is the one I like to use the most. I'll grip on the outside and I'll freehand on the inside. What I do is I look for the meaty part of the thumb and I connect here right on it. Now I can't pull his thumb and break it. That's illegal in competition, obviously bad for my training partner. But I want to have my thumb right along it so my hand comes right to the wrist. So I have a mix and match. One hand has fabric on the outside. The other hand is just him on the inside. But when I break, I can now push. And this is a strong grip to allow me to go to something else. So one more time, he grips same side collar. I get my base, cuff grip on the outside, wrist grip on the inside, clamp tight. I see people try to break here. If you hold really strong, this is hard. But if I clamp everything in, now I pop and I have control to move. Okay, so I'll give you one last tip. Yes, we can get a good base. We can clamp on the wrist with or without fabric. And the third thing is I pop off my collar so I get it clear. But sometimes it just doesn't happen. Look at this guy. I got a big guy, good training partner here, because he grips up here, and I want you to hold really tight, Mark. Really tight. I'm gonna try to break, it's probably not gonna work. Let's say I get here and I try 60, 70, 80%, but he's holding 100%. So let's say I get this mixed match. I have cuff on the outside, hand on the inside. I go to break and he doesn't let me. Okay? I'm forced with a couple options. I'll try a second time, and he's even gonna be like more prepared. It doesn't work. And I sit here doing this. I want you to think of the idea. If I'm going to break the grip and it doesn't work, when I relax, so does he. That's the moment I want to go. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to try 100%, not 60%. I'm going to try as hard as I can to break. And if it doesn't work, I pause and then pop again. I should be like pop, pop, pop. So watch what happens. Hold as tight as you can. Good base. I get my grip and I pop off. I didn't get on the first one, but he relaxed a little bit. It's so hard not to that I kept going for the second one and then I clear. Now the thing is, if you train with somebody that's holding on as hard as they can, it starts hurting the hands. So a lot of times, if I start doing this and my training partner's popping the grips, after a while, I'm going to be a little lighter, or I'm going to let go sooner. So if Mark knows that, if he grabs me and I dig in, he's like, ah, shit, you know, this guy's going to pop really hard. He might let go and transition to another grip, maybe grab my sleeve or something, right? That's a different kind of game. But if he's going to hold on like a death grip, when he's here, I can't just break and hope. I'm going to pop. No, hold tight. I'm going to pop. It doesn't work. I relax and then re-go. Like pop, pop, pop. Like staccato. If that makes sense. So one more time. Let's go over these three variations real quick. He grabs same side collar. Good base. Grab the wrist. Like clamp the wrist tight. Pop. And then make sure to follow up with some control. The second one, he grabs. I get both of the cuff grips. Good base. And pop. And same thing. Maybe to an arm drag. The last one we do. He grabs. Good base. Sleeve on the outside, grip on the inside, but don't separate them. Keep them together. Look where I'm going. I don't want to look down. I look forward, I pop, and go. And like that bonus tip was, if I try once, it doesn't work, immediately go a second or third time for success. So that's it for today, guys. Just some ways to break grips. So try it out. Hope it works for you.